Hey everybody, I just want to make a serious video about the biggest thing that causes false identification, conflicts, arguments, fallouts between people, and just basically breakups between people, either friends or family or relationships, and the division of closeness, of care, and from your heart towards somebody. It's another way I could also say it included is also drama. The biggest thing, okay everybody, is when you get lost in emotional and mental streams, waves, coming and going, crashing within yourself. Imagine you are swimming in the ocean, okay, and at the shore where the sand is, it's a nice sunny day, and the big dark deep sea out there, the ocean, and you are beside the shore, and it's like more like turquoisey blue, and you're in a lovely country, and the waves are like splashing down, just ordinary. Okay, so there's a beautiful scenario, and you are swimming in the beautiful waves, and the waves are tossing you around onto the shore, and you're going underneath the waves, and there's just waves, waves and waves, and you, as the inner silent being, it's hard to see you, or you're not really aware of yourself. You're just too busy being tossed and rolled and turned and swept by all of these waves, which represent thoughts and emotions within you, emotions and thoughts, thoughts and emotions, emotions and thoughts, opinions, feeling right. How dare they say that? I'm definitely right. Don't they know how right I am? How could they possibly say or do this? So all of these emotional thought streams are engulfing you, and the inner silence of who you are is lost. There's no space, there's little perspective, there's little deep peace, harmony and serenity within you, and you're most likely shallow breathing as well, and you're most likely definitely not aware of your breath. Like if you're busy swimming and there's loads of waves, you're not going to be aware of your breath. Probably. But imagine you could like zoom out, so you're no longer a little tiny thing lost in all of these sweeping waves. Imagine you could zoom out far and high up into the sky, and you see all the land away from the ocean. You see the beautiful beach, sandy, yellowy, golden, pale, custardy sand, white, pale yellow, beautiful sand all along the edge of the ocean. You can see the white waves, all the whiteness, and then the lighter part of the ocean, and then going out further and further you see the deep dark part of the ocean, dark blue, darky, blacky almost, and then the horizon. It's a nice lovely horizon, bright blue sky. So you're far above the land, and this represents the inner space of I am, that can see perspective, that's not lost in the situation or opinions and beliefs. And this represents what spiritual teachers such as so many, Jesus probably meant it by the kingdom of God is within you. Ramana Maharshi, very, very famous spiritual teacher, asks us to ask the question, who am I? Go deep within you, who am I? And if you think a thought saying, well, this is who I am, it's like, well, who is thinking this thought, or where is this, who am I beyond, before this thought, who am I? Who is aware of this thought? Eckhart Tolle is the most famous spiritual teacher, so to speak, at the moment. He calls this presence. And the Zen masters talk about being alert in the moment. A Zen master would, like, if they saw their disciple, like sort of like just like looking around, they'd hit them with a stick, And then the student will go, "Ooh," really alert and awake in the present moment, vigilantly alert, and then you realise, oh, you spot or notice anything, including your own thoughts and any feelings within you. So you're not lost in reactive arguments and long-winded discussions, which it's okay to have long discussions, but where you're being dragged like big wild horses, like pulling you along. These represent your mental and emotional streams. Huge influxes dragging you along, fighting with other people. And it's okay to talk to other people, or even firmly, or even discuss things with people. But I'm trying to talk about having touch with that place of inner peace, serenity and tranquility, the deep ocean, the vast perspective. You can see your body down up in the sky far above. You see all the amazing air, all the huge space up beneath, above the land, and you see the land, and you see your tiny speck of a body if you've really got good vision. This is the space Muji talks about, a spiritual teacher, Adyashanti. So many spiritual and religious traditions, mystical traditions, point us towards this. And there's a million words, and they're all simply different pointers saying that way, this, over there. Like Buddhists might say, the finger pointing to the moon isn't the moon. The word trying to describe something is not the thing. So enlightenment is just a word trying to describe something, and it means many different things for many different people. But inner stillness, inner space, inner silence, inner peace, these are all words trying to describe what I'm trying to talk about. And when you have this place, an awareness of this place, you're more like you're in control, not forcing or not trying to control, but you're not lost, and you have perspective. And to practically apply this to your life, let's say, try have this either before, during, or after talking with somebody, especially if you have differences of opinions. Be careful of being extremely believing your beliefs or opinions, to being attached to them and heavily invested in them, where you'll be offended if somebody disagrees, or you have this deep need within you to be right, to put across your opinion or belief, or even worse, to make people believe you or agree with you and think what you think, believe what you believe, have the opinion of your opinion. So when I'm speaking, you hear noises of my words, but can you be also aware of the silence in between my words, or in between my sentences especially, because they are longer breaks, longer silences. So that's like when we think there's noise in our head. But practice a little bit. Not too much, but a bit in your own happy time. Practice realizing the silence within you, the pause or the gap in between the words in your head. So there isn't excessive or non-stop constant thinking, but you become aware of the gaps of silence, where there's no thinking in between your words or sentences. And this is a way to grow in feeling deep inner serenity and harmony and peace. If you really want to, you can practice just talking slower and being aware of this when you're talking in the same way as I am doing now. And it's non-stressful, it's very relaxing and calming and peaceful. You're absolutely not in a rush, and you're absolutely not rushing to the future. You're not stressing or straining. You're not thinking about the past or the future. You're just here in the moment, paying attention to what's happening here with your speaking or listening to somebody. Another practical thing you can do is before you reply to somebody, especially if there's a difference of agreement, before you reply, just try and have a pause of a few seconds, or where you just take a breath, or else you just simply become aware of this inner gap, the gap of inner space, inner stillness, inner silence, inner perspective, inner silence space. You can also practice this a little bit when you look at things. See if you can see the gap or the space before another thing. So you don't always have to have your attention on something necessarily, on a thing. See if you can. Okay, so you become aware of things and then even the space in between the things. Some people will say that the space is a thing, and that is probably true, to be honest. But we're becoming aware of the really obvious, which most people are only aware of, to becoming aware of the not so obvious, the less interesting, the less moving, just space doing nothing apparently, hardly even noticeably existing. You're becoming aware of the inconspicuous, the unentertaining, the uninteresting, things that usually nobody notices. And finally, we can, instead of shining our attention outside, we can shine our attention within. So, on attention itself. So we're shining our attention on things, but where is attention coming from? It's coming from within us. We are, in a way, attention or awareness itself. So come back to the source, the beginning. Before you put your attention on something outside, come back to self-attention, attention itself, awareness, stillness, silence itself. And this is even another thing that most people at the moment on earth aren't really connected with. Now, before I even start to suggest how you deal with arguments or people or differences of opinions, try and do these things before, during, or after, and see how your feelings change towards somebody. See how your emotions and opinions and beliefs and feelings, especially, the beingness behind your doingness, the essence of your feelings change. So you might still have the same opinion and belief, but the emotional energy, the energetic signature behind which you deliver or share or spread or communicate is absolutely and utterly totally different. It's so much nicer. You're so much more powerful this way because you're not lost in emotional and mental streams of washing you all over the place, dragging you here and there with the currents. You're anchored in the ocean of inner stillness, like the ocean. The other stuff is surface level. You're the depth, deep ocean, unrockable, untouchable. Here you are strong, centered, stable, grounded, and absolutely and utterly empowered. You see clearly, Because you can see everything. You can see not just the obvious, the big, glaring, shiny things that most people only see, but you can see the inconspicuous, smaller, finer details that miss people because they're lost in their emotional tugging them and pulling them everywhere. So yeah, clarity and depth of thinking. And you can focus your thought in a particular place. You just simply direct it over there, over here, because you choose to, instead of you involuntarily being pulled and put somewhere by the emotional streams and mental streams. So this isn't even about eradicating thoughts, because like I said earlier about attention, shining the attention that we are on something, attention is always there, it's who we are. Attention is just another word pointing towards it. So even as thoughts come or go, that's fine. We can be thoughtless, with no thoughts, or we can have thoughts go by and be thought, and that's okay. We don't have to be against thoughts, but we are still awareness of our thoughts. We're the attention that's putting our attention on our thoughts. So the attention is still there. We still have the inner silence, inner space there and existing. As us, or within us, if you want to say, more as us. So that's it more or less laid out. You can then practice this in your life. See if you can look at something without labeling it, without calling it words. Just simply look and observe. Your attention is just on the thing. Look at the details, the shapes, sizes. No need to add lots and lots of thoughts and concepts and ideas to the thing. And I hope this helps you in your relationships and in your life. And thanks for watching. Much love. One other thing, Eckhart Tolle lives in this space of inner silence and stillness nearly all of the time. He says, to the degree in which you have this inner silence space existing, so to speak, that's the more, then you can be more like a spiritual teacher. That's the more you have it, the more you can help share it with other people. And it is an energetic feeling that people can feel from you. Some people say that when you step into the presence of certain beings or people, you feel their presence, and it's like the energetic quality emitting from them. How dare you disagree with me? I'm right. Can't you see my point?